How's it going, guys? Randall, aka Shizukats here, back again on the Tressa Collectibles channel. And today we're going to be taking a look at the first new Weiss Schwarz set for the year 2024. Happy New Year to all of you. And it is going to be Spy Family, a set that has definitely been long awaited since its release in Japanese Weiss Schwarz. And this is definitely a beloved anime series that I'm sure a lot of people are looking to get into in the English Weiss Schwarz game. We're also going to be seeing the return of the Meister Set, a product that has not been put into a Weiss Schwarz set since 2016, all the way back with the Disgaea Meister Set. So we have a lot to look at today. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Spy Family, this is originally a manga series, and basically the premise of the story is that we have our three members of the family. We have Loid, who is a spy, we have Yor, who is an assassin, and then we have Anya, who has telepathic powers. She's able to read the minds of the people around her. And so the premise is that it starts with Loid, who is a spy, and his latest mission is that he has to build a fake family in order to basically like infiltrate this society of like higher ups and perform an assassination and fulfill his mission. And part of that is finding the family. So he has to find a wife and a kid. And so that's where Yor and Anya come in. Little does he know that Yor is a skilled assassin and Anya is a telepath. And so he builds this family where he doesn't know their professions, but also Yor joins the family not knowing that Loid is a spy. And so it causes a lot of hijinks between the characters, and then Anya, being a mind reader, actually knows that both Loid and Anya are a spy and assassin respectively, and so it just results in a lot of very humorous situations. Eventually we do also get some more characters added to the cast, like for example Bond, who is a dog that also has special powers, and so there's definitely a lot of cool archetypes built into the set itself. We'll also feature some of the characters from Anya's school, her academy friends such as Becky, and then of course Damien. And so yeah, we'll be getting into that as we open up the set and take a look at some of the cards. As far as the product that we're going to be looking at today, we have, of course, our normal trial deck and two booster boxes, as well as the Meister Set. We'll be opening these in the order of the trial deck, then the Meister Set, and then the booster boxes. But before we get into any of our product, we, of course, have to take a look at the beautiful case topper playmat that comes one per sealed case of booster boxes. And it does have the nice stitched edging, so you don't get that any of the fraying that some playmats might get if they don't have it. Now, one more thing before we get into the actual openings is that unlike other sets, I think that this particular set has a central mechanic that I think is very important to talk about before we actually get into any of the cards. So we're going to go ahead and get into that real quick. All right, so here we have some of the key cards that you're going to want to be looking at in the Spy Family set. Starting with the card in the middle, we have the Telepath Girl Anya Brainstorm. And so in addition to being a tap self-salvage Brainstorm, already making it a powerful card that you'll want in any of your decks, it also has the additional ability where when your other character is placed on stage by a change effect, that character gets plus 1,000 power until the end of the next turn after you bring it into play via change. And so that is going to work with multiple different two-card packages within the set, each of which will have like the normal version of like when they're a spy or an assassin for both Loid and Yor. And then they also have a like civilian version, which are going to be these four here on the bottom. And so as far as the way these change packages work, there are, I guess, two different ways. So let's go ahead and take a look at the ones that are on the level 3s. So these level 3 cards, they all have a climax combo ability that is either over spec or like under costed in some way. So for example, the Yor climax combo has a pay 1, burn 4, and gain 4,000 power, which is typically a climax combo that would probably cost around like pay 2, discard 1, but in this case it is significantly cheaper. Now the reason for these combos being overspec or undercosted is because these cards do not have an on-play ability at all. Instead, they have a change effect into their civilian versions. So here we have the Anya, Loid, and Yor cards when they're like taking like their family photos. And these cards, they only have the on-play ability and a change effect. So basically the idea behind these change packages is you want to be using the combo version during your turn, and then at the start of the encore step, you change into the civilian version, you get their on-play effect. And then the way the change works in this set is that when you do a change, you put the card that you changed away from underneath as a marker, and then you can change back to the marker the next time the opportunity presents itself. And that allows you to repeatedly shift between the two to get the on-play effect and then go back to the climax combo. And with the help of the Telepath girl Anya Brainstorm, you can give your change cards a lot of additional power, and in order to ensure that they can stay on the board, and you can continue looping between the two versions. Now, one particular card in the change archetype that does not fit the same as the other three is the Fiona level 1 combo. And so this one is typically regarded as the strongest level 1 combo option in the set. Not necessarily because of what the combo does, but because of the fact that the combo and the card that it changes into are changers. The ability to give a lot of extra power via the Brainstorm is extremely powerful, and it's just a really strong level 1 combo to utilize turn after turn, which can be ensured using that extra power boost from Anya. So just real quick, as far as what each of the combos do, the Anya level 3 says that you can pay 1, discard 1 on attack to Mocha 3, so you can look at up to 3 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, send any climaxes to the waiting room, and then put the rest back on top, and you get to heal 1. The card that she changes into is a top X, so you can use this at the start of the encore step to go through the rest of your deck, maybe if you're out of all your climaxes. The Twilight level 3, or Loid, is on attack. You can pay 2 to burn 3, and then if that gets canceled, you get to burn 1. And then he changes into a healer. The Yor level 3, as we said earlier, is pay 1, burn 4, gain 4,000, and she changes into a heal to stock. And then the Fiona is a pants combo that says on attack, you get to look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose a Burlent character from among them, add it to your hand, and put the rest on top of your deck in any order. So gathering intelligence for upcoming triggers, or maybe what you'll have on top of your deck going into your opponent's next turn so you could potentially cancel. Very cool card. And then she changes into the 1-0 Fiona that says during your turn she gets 4k, during the opponent's turn she gets plus 6k, so offsetting this very weak 500 printed power. And then her very, very strong defensive ability, at the end of the battle opponent's attack, you get to look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and rearrange them in any order you want. This allows you to not only get information on if you have potential cancels incoming, but if it's the opponent's last attack of the turn, you get information on what cards you could potentially draw going into your next draw phase, or maybe if you want to clock and draw the other 2. So it's a very powerful card, sitting at 6,500 defense and potentially boosted even higher by the Anya Brainstorms. It could be 7,500 with 1 or even 8,500 with 2, which is extremely powerful. And this is typically going to be the backbone of many Spy Family builds. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the first of our sealed product, which is going to be the trial deck. All right, let's get right in. As with a lot of the trial decks released in recent times, this trial deck comes equipped with 2 climax combos, making it very strong at both level 1 and level 3 compared to trial decks that are lacking one or the other. As with all trial decks, we're going to be coming with the usual goodies inside, such as a paper playmat and quick guide. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at those. Here we have the quick guide for those of you who are new to Weiss Schwarz. It has all of the necessary information that you need to know in order to get into the game. And then if you don't have any of these beautiful rubber playmats, fear not. We do have, of course, the paper playmat that also has all of the zones and whatnot and information about phases and steps. And with all of the paper playmats that come in the trial decks, if you look at the back, we have some information that you can take a look at, some stuff on how to play the deck, or some cards that you can add from the booster set in order to give the deck a nice little boost. But we're not here for any of those. We are here for the trial deck itself. So there are quite a few cards in this trial deck that are quite strong that you could potentially use in like a budget deck or like some sort of like TD++. So we'll definitely be highlighting some of those. Our first one is the 3-2 Loid, Anya, and Your Climax combo. So this Climax combo goes with a gold bar. It is an on-play heal, and it has on attack, pay 1, discard 1 if you have 2 or more other Berlin City characters to deal 3 damage to your opponent. So very solid card, just gets you a nice burn 3. This is a pretty favorable number of amount of damage to be dealing in the late game. And additionally, this card also has a specific support card in the trial deck that goes with it, which we'll be taking a look at in just a little bit. So there is our first guaranteed SR. Now, moving on to the other cards of the trial deck, we have the level 0 Bond. This is the dog that eventually gets added to the family. And Bond is typically going to have a lot of abilities that pair quite well with Anya cards. In this case, this Bond is a Bond to an Anya, so very funny play on his name. When Bond is played, you can discard 1 to grab a specific Anya, which we'll just take a look at in a sec, from your waiting room. And then Bond also gives all copies of that Anya plus 1500 power and hand encore. Here we have the In the Toilet Bond. This is a global 500. And then when this Bond or another Berlin City character is played from your hand, you get to look at top card of your deck. You don't get to move it or anything, but it's always good to have knowledge of that top card. Okay, I think this trial deck is actually, you get a guaranteed. The second guaranteed foil is, it could be any card in the trial deck, so it'll probably be towards the back of the pack. We have the Anya Mill Runner, or not Mill Runner, Free Runner. So this is always a good level 1, or sorry, not level 1, a good turn 1 play going first, so that you can use the runner ability, move it out of the way of your opponent's attackers, and ensure that you can save cards for your next turn. Level 0 Anya. So when this is reversed, it has the Rize effect, where you can reveal up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 Berlin City character from among them, add it to hand, put the rest into your waiting room, and discard a card. And so this is a nice way to get some free deck speed, allowing you to go through some cards in your deck, as well as filter out some of the unneeded cards in your hand. So here we have the level 1 combo of the trial deck, of which we will get 4 copies. All of the cards you see here, because all of them have a chance to be foil in the trial deck, 1 copy of each of those cards will be at the back of the pack. And so the number of copies of all of these cards that you see here will be 1 more than you actually see. So this is a 2 of, this is a 2 of, this is a 4 of, etc. And so this level 1 combo is going to be a 4 of in this trial deck. So it is a 5500 power level 1 if you have 2 or more other Berlin characters. And the Climax combo is with choice, I believe. Just double check real quick. It is with choice. So at the start of your encore step, if this card is in the front row, you have 2 or more other Berlin characters, and the character across is either reversed or there is no character across, then you can search your deck for a Berlin City character and add it to your hand. So pretty nice way to get some card advantage at level 1, and also thins your deck out, makes it easier for you to potentially cancel damage on your opponent's incoming turn. Here we have the 1/1 Anya that the Bond grabs. So with the Bonder, it turns the Anya into a 1/1/8/5 with hand encore. So pretty big beater. Although being a vanilla, it does not actually do anything else. For our first, or our second, I guess, level 3 of the trial deck, we have the 3/2 Anya. This is a on-play, draw 1, discard 1, and then you can bounce one of your opponent's characters. This can be pretty good against strategies that require, like, having a full board in order to use some sort of defensive counter, or if you just even want to open up your opponent's board in order to swing for more soul damage. And then she also gets plus 2,500 power and hand encore if you have 2 or more other brilliant characters. The event of the trial deck is Operation Strix. This is the same as the Ironclad event, for those of you who are familiar with Sword Art Online 10th Anniversary. So you mill 4, and then you count the number of soul triggers on those cards, and then you can salvage a character from your waiting room whose level is X or lower, where X is that number of soul triggers. So this gives a lot of additional mill in addition to the level 0 Okie Dokie Anya, which is really good considering that the level 1 combo doesn't actually mill a whole lot of cards from the deck. So you can use these 2 cards to get a lot of much needed deck speed. Okay, for our first climax, we have the 3 out of the 4 copies of the choice climax for Anya. And moving on to our green cards, we have our Brainstorm, which is the Twilight Brainstorm. In addition to being a pay 1, rest self, Brainstorm 5, draw a card for each climax, he also has the additional ability where you can pay 1 to draw a card and discard a card. And so this can be useful for paying out climaxes out of stock if you have any that are stuck there, maybe filter some unneeded cards out of your hand. So it's just an all-around nice utility effect to have on top of just being a Brainstorm. And the fact that you can use both of the abilities in the same turn, because the draw 1, ditch 1 doesn't require resting, is also quite good. The level 0 Yor is, it's a type of card that we call a Shimakai, from the Shimakaze Kai card from Kansai Collection, where when she attacks, you can choose one of your other brilliant characters, and that character gets plus X power until the end of the turn, where X equals the number of your other brilliant characters times 500. So this can result in a boost of up to 2,000 power if you have a full board, making it a really nice card to assist the level 1 Anya in order to make sure that her battle opponent is reversed in order to get that climax combo. Additionally, on play, she has what we call a submarine effect, which, funnily enough, also originates from Kansai Collection, where when she's placed on stage from hand, if your opponent has only 1 character in their front row, if it is a cost 0 character, you can send it to the bottom of the opponent's deck. So this could be a really good card to counter an opponent's turn 1 play, because on turn 1, usually a person that's going first is only going to play 1 character from their hand, and you can use this to just get rid of that card and make sure that they don't get any advantage out of it. All right, our next card is the level 0 Yor. This is a very powerful card that you might see in optimized builds of Spy Family. So her ability only activates if all of your characters are Berlin City, but literally every single character in the set is Berlin, so this shouldn't be a problem at all. She becomes 3,500 power, and she gains an additional effect that says when she reverses her battle opponent, you salvage a Berlin character and then discard a card. And this gives you some extra hand fixing whenever you reverse an opponent's character. You do have to watch out, though, as this ability is mandatory. If you do not have a character in waiting room to salvage, then you resolve as much of the effect as possible, which means that you still have to discard a card from your hand. So just do be careful about that ability if you do not have a waiting room, or maybe if you're near refresh. Next, we have the Loid Drop Search. This is just a generic pay 1, discard 1 search, which is a good card for grabbing specific cards that you might need from your deck. Another really cool card from the trial deck is the Twilight Loid Cost 0 Clock Bomb. This card, in addition to being a Cost 0 Clock Bomb, has on play, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a Berlin character, choose a character and then give it 2,000 power until end of turn, which again is a really nice way to buff up your Anya level 1 combo in order to make sure that she can reverse her battle opponent and use her climax combo. The next level 1 Loid is on play, top check 2 and rearrange. And additionally, when placed on stage from hand, you can discard 1 to summon a level 0 character from your waiting room to the stage. This is actually a really good card with the Twilight Brainstorm, considering that within a single trial deck, you're only getting 2 copies of this Brainstorm, so having a little bit of extra access to that Brainstorm is really, really nice. And potentially, if you're lacking on attackers, you could just use this effect to discard a higher level card, such as a level 3, and use it to summon something that you might want to attack with, like Okie Dokie Anya or maybe Assassin Yor. So just a really nice hand fix there. Next, we have the level 1 Yor backup. So this is a 1/1 backup, but because of the effect, you get to refund 1 stock when you use it, which essentially makes it a 1/0 backup. However, this comes with the added benefit of the card having a soul trigger, which means that you can grab it off of the choice climax, which can grab a card with a soul trigger from your waiting, or a character with a soul trigger rather, from your waiting room, and either add it back to your hand or send it to stock. And this card also has really, really strong synergy with the level 1 Fiona that we looked at earlier. Because Fiona, when you use her ability on defense, she lets you rearrange the top 3 cards of your deck, so you always know if the top card of your deck is going to be clean or not when you decide to use your Yor counter. So very, very powerful synergy. On top of the fact that the Fiona on defense can be as high as 8/5 with 2 copies of Anya Brainstorm, using the Yor counter to bring it up to a maximum of 10/5 can be extremely powerful and extremely difficult to swing over. So very good combination between those 2 cards. Yeah, so if you're running the Fiona level 1 game, you're definitely going to want to be running at least 1, if not 2 copies of this Yor backup, for sure. Next, we have the Loid support. This is a level assist, and then this is also the card that I mentioned earlier, has a specific ability to help out the level 3 combo. So this card says, by resting it, you look at the top card of your deck, put it on top or into your waiting room, and then all of your copies of the level 3 combo gain 1000 power and anti-backup until the end of the turn. Very, very powerful ability. Allows them to swing for potentially up to 13/5 on offense between the level assist, the 1k pump, and the climax. So allows you to swing over a lot of your opponent's bigger cards very easily and prevent them from using backups. So very, very strong combination. For our next level 2, we have the level 2 beater Yor. So when this attacks, it gets 1000 times the number of other Brilliant characters you have, bringing it up to a maximum of 11k, and it has Hand Encore, allowing her to come back and swing for big numbers on the next turn as well. For our other climaxes, we have the Gold Bar Climax that goes with the level 3 combo, and then of course, what trial deck would be complete without a +2 soul, in case you just want to get in there for a lot of damage. All right, now that we've looked at all of the cards in the trial deck, let's go ahead and find out what our foil is. So we have the Bonds, we have Anya, Okie Dokie Anya, Promise Anya, level 3, Operation Strix, Brainstorm, Yor Shimakai. Okay, so the 3 cards, there's 4 possible SPs in the trial deck, which are the level 1 combo, level 0 Yor, level 1 Twilight, and the 3/2 combo. So all of the trial deck SPs come as character signatures rather than voice actor, voice actress signatures. And then in the case of the level 3, it's simply signed as the Forgers, which I think is a really nice touch. As far as where these cards are in the pack, they should be at the very back behind all of the other cards. Which is why we skipped over them as we're going through these. Okay, so we have the level 1 Loid, level 1, level 2, level 2, and I think it might be a triple R choice climax because I don't think we saw that. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here we have our level 1 Anya, 4th copy, level 0 Yor, level 1 Twilight, level 3 2nd copy, and our guaranteed 2nd foil is a triple R of the Anya Climax combo. Look at how cute they are, her and Bond. They're just so cute. All right, so before we get into our Meister set, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at some of the cards that you might be looking for from the trial deck. We have a couple of them here. So here we have the level 0 Yor, which is signed as Yor Forger, and I think it's a really nice touch. It has these rose petals flying around in the gold stamp. And then here we have the level 3 Climax combo, which is signed The Forgers. This has some really cute art as well. And yeah, the other two are basically just the Anya and Twilight. Just like the Your level 0, it's going to feature the same art, and it's just going to have like the signature and some gold stamp. So yeah, that's going to conclude our trial deck opening. So let's go ahead and get into the next product, which is going to be the Meister Set. Okay, here we go, guys. Getting into the first Meister Set in almost 8 years. As I said earlier, the last one that was released was Disgaea all the way back in 2016. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap of what a Meister Set is going to contain. So first of all, the Meister Set does come in this pretty big box, and so this is going to be usable as a storage box for holding your decks. You can put a whole bunch of deck boxes inside this, and as far as the contents of the actual box, we're going to have 10 booster packs, a promo card, and a playmat. So we're going to go ahead and use this playmat while we open up our Meister Set stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. This has the same art as the SP that we just looked at from the trial deck, featuring all of the Spy Family members. And this does also come with a stitched edge, just like the playmat from the case topper. All right, for the rest of the box, we have our 10 booster packs and our promo. And so despite being in a pack, it is always going to be the same promo every time. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. For those of you who don't know, packs are very easy to open if you stick your thumb into one of these little perforated dots on the back, rather than using the tab on the top corner, as you do have a slight chance to potentially rip the top corner of one of your cards if you use the tab. So we prefer to use the dots on the back. Now, the promo that comes in the Meister Set is the level 0 Anya together with Penguin. And this is a global 5, and then also when you play an event, you can send this card. Oh, wait, no. You can draw a card and discard a card. I could have sworn it was something different, but I guess I was mistaken. Anyways, this card is a foil and frameless version, so we do not have the green frame at the bottom of the card. And you will also have an opportunity to get the non-foil version of this promo from February shop tournaments, so be sure to hit up your local shop, and you will be getting one copy of this card as a non-foil version as part of your tournament participation. All right, let's go ahead and get into our booster packs. We have 10 packs. Hopefully we can pull something nice. All right. So here we have a drop salvage Anya, and then also she gains 1,000, or you mill 2 on play and gain 1,000 power for each brilliant character. This is actually a profile that we have seen previously in sets like Review Starlight, where it is a pretty valuable resource as well. So pretty good utility option alongside the drop search Twilight that we saw in the trial deck. Eden Academy is going to be a choice archetype, including the headmaster, who really loves elegance. He wants everything to be as elegant as possible. And so we're going to see a lot of cards that synergize with choice climaxes, as well as a lot of level 1s that have soul triggers. So you're able to add them off of choice climaxes that you trigger, and sometimes they will give you additional damage. In this case, the Headmaster's ability is when you trigger check a choice climax, you can pay 1 to draw a card. So really nice card allowing you to keep your stock clean. And additionally, when combined with the stock that you gain from a choice climax, you can maintain the amount of stock that you're actually having available for other stuff. One thing that I do want to note about Spy Family cards is that a lot of them have these borders, so this yellow border, green border, and whatnot. And so if we just look at the top of the cards, they all have pretty much the same border. And this can actually make it really, really hard to figure out what card you actually have if you're just looking at the cards like this, because you don't actually see much of the artwork. So I think that's pretty funny. Here we have one of the two Climax Swappers in the set, which is the Twilight Vanilla Climax Swapper. The other Climax Swap option available is a level 0 Anya that can grab a level 2 event. And so those are the two options that you have. Okay, we have level 1 Loid and Yor. And one very interesting thing about some of the cards in this set, because their main mechanic is change, and they want to be doing a lot of cheating out via events. So you can cheat out your level 3s earlier than normal by using event cards. This set doesn't have standby because they want to incentivize using the events to bring out some of those cards early rather than using a standby climax. But you are able to bring out those changers at level 2 and utilize their change abilities to start looping between like healing or like gathering resources with Anya, just not with standby. However, there are some like fake standby effects that we'll take a look at in a bit. Okay, speaking of those events, here is one of the events that allows you to early play the level 3 Anya. So this card is a level 2 event that says you have to sacrifice a specific level 0 Anya in order to choose any Anya from your waiting room and put it on stage. Typically, you're going to be playing the level 3 combo off of that. And then you can use the combo, and then at the end of the turn, you can change into this 3-2 in order to get the top check X, add a card from among them. So this is a card that we already looked at earlier. Okay. Here we have Damien, who he gets into a lot of mischief with Anya. And for those of you who haven't watched the show or read the manga, basically Damien is like one of the characters at Anya's academy, Eden Academy, that he really just does not, he rubs her the wrong way, and so they get into they butt heads a lot, but they really do care about each other. So they're just a pretty cute couple of characters. Okay, here we have the level 2 Anya. This has a type of ability that we call a Fumio, or I guess a half Fumio, where you can use her effect to force your opponent to shuffle all cards from their waiting room into their deck, except for one climax of their choosing. This can be a really powerful card on finisher turns when your opponent has a very well compressed deck and they have a waiting room full of garbage, and you can use this effect to throw all that garbage back into their deck and make it easier to stick damage. Okay, for our next rare, we have the level 1 Loid. So this has top check to rearrange, and on attack you can choose one of your other characters and give it 1k power and hand encore until the end of the opponent's next turn. Okay, let's take a look at some more cards. As I was saying earlier, it's just really hard to tell. Oh, there's a foil. Very nice. Okay, it's very hard to tell which cards are which just by peeking out at the side, just because of all these borders. We have the level 2 killer Anya. All right. Oh, this is a very interesting card from the Eden Academy deck. So it's a 2/1 4/5. If you have 4 or more other Berlin City characters, this gets plus 6k going up to 10/5. On play, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it is level 1 or lower, you send it to stock. But the most interesting part about this card is that it actually has 2 souls. So you can use this as a 2 soul swing that potentially comes in for 0 stock and sits at 10,500 power. Pretty cool card. And I would say is probably one of the most important pieces for the 8-choice deck at level 2, alongside your Anya level 3 combo, bringing it out via the event. All right, now next we should have our foil. So what do we have here? We have a 1/0 Anya and Yor. So this card has, on attack, you can pay 1 up to 2 times. And then for each time you paid the cost, you mill the top card of your deck. And if that card is a Berlin character, you get to add that card to your hand. So this allows you to convert stock. If you have a lot of excess stock, it allows you to convert it back into your hand. And then it is also a cost 0 clock bomb. So between this and the level 1 Loid from the trial deck, you have 2 options for a cost 0 clock bomb. Although I think a lot of people tend to favor the Loid for his ability to get top deck knowledge as well as give a 2k power boost. So really nice that we got a foil out of this. Let's go ahead and get a sleeve on that real quick. As well as a sleeve for our Anya promo. Is this the opening? Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and put both these right there. All right, the Fiona deck, or rather a deck that utilizes Fiona, is typically going to want to be paired with the other members of Weiss, which is like, that's Loid's like spy agency. Those characters all basically have to do with using a lot of pants climaxes, and this Fiona is no exception. This card is an assist that says when your character's trigger check reveals a pants climax, you can discard a card to look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose an event, or a Loid, Twilight, or Fiona, add it to your hand, put the rest into your waiting room, and then give a character 1500 power. And then her other effect is she can rest herself to give a character 1500 power as well. And so, big thing about Fiona in the story is that she is in love with Loid, and so she really does not like that he has this family with Yor. There are some really funny scenarios in the show where Anya reads Fiona's mind, and then she's just like, I don't want Fiona as a mom, I want Yor as my mom. And yeah, it's just a lot of really funny stuff that happens with there. But yeah, Fiona is in love with Loid, and she wants to be with him rather than have Yor be with him. So there's a lot of really interesting dynamics between those characters. But she keeps it all on the inside. She's very calm and collected, as you can see in her artwork. She looks like a very cold character with a kind of scary face. But on the inside, she's just like, man, I love Loid. So it's a very funny duality. Okay, for our next rare, we have the Anya level 1. This is a level 1 clean cut. So with her clean cut ability, she can choose one of your other characters, rest it, and move it to your back row in order to keep it safe and allow you to use it during the next turn. Additionally, this card also has a soul trigger, one of the cards that has a soul trigger despite being a 1/0 that I mentioned earlier, so you can grab this off of choice climaxes if you trigger them. Okay, here's another 1/0 with a choice trigger, the 1/0 Damien. Okay, this is a pretty interesting level 0 Twilight. So on play, you mill 2, and then if you mill a climax, then you get to look at up to top 4 and add a character from among them to your hand and send the rest to waiting room. So this could be a really nice way to get through a lot of cards in your deck. And if you mill 2 clean, it's all good. It was a free mill 2. And you get to play with the climaxes that you still have remaining in your deck. All right. Here we have one of the choice climax level 1 options that you have. You have the Damien combo. You also have the Anya from the trial deck, and you have a Becky level 1 as well. And all of them are on choice climaxes, and this one in particular has a soul trigger. So this one has during your turn plus 3k, and then when you play the climax, you reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. Your opponent chooses a character or event from among them, and you add it to your hand, and you send the other one to waiting room. So unfortunately, the selectivity is not super great because your opponent is picking the card for you. But it does have the benefit of that soul trigger, allowing you to grab this card off choice climaxes or trigger this card to push extra damage. Okay, for our rare, we have level 2 Yor. This card has the ability to grab a specific level 3 Yor, not the one that's the climax combo, and you can play it from your hand early. And then it is also a 1k assist, and you can rest it to look at top 2 and rearrange. All right, so let's keep going. We have a level 0 Anya climax combo. It's not the greatest combo, but it's definitely a Actually, no. This is the one I was thinking of that wasn't super great was actually the yellow combo, I think. This one is a Ditch Climax Salvage, and then Climax combo. When you play the Climax, you mill 3, choose up to 1 level X or lower Berlin character from among them, and add it to your hand, where X is the number of Berlin characters that were put into the waiting room. So this one I actually think is potentially quite good. I think the biggest reason that people don't run a lot of the other Climax combos is because the Fiona package is so strong. But this one is definitely a serviceable choice. We have Loid and Anya, which is, it has a on-play, pay 1, discard 1, check top 3, add 1 effect, and then an incidental second effect that allows you to gain an extra soul when this direct attacks. So pretty nice, like one of utility card. This is a very interesting event. So this is a 3/5 event. Very, very costly, but it has a very powerful effect in a very specific deck. So what this card does is you play it, and then you get to choose up to, you get to choose 1 level 3 Anya, 1 level 3 Loid, and 1 level 3 Yor, and you get to play all of them from your hand. Normally this would cost 6 stock, but you get to save 1 stock because this event costs 5. You put all of them onto stage from your hand, and then you send the event to waiting room. And then while this card is in memory, during the turn that it was put into memory, you can use the Gold Bar Climax from the trial deck. So let me grab that. You can use the Gold Bar Climax as all 3. So this allows you to use all 3 of their combos in a single turn with a single Climax, which is a super funny way to play the deck. What I think is really interesting is that all 3 of these character cards are not green, but the event and the Climax are green. So you get to cheat all of these out without actually having color, and then you get to use all of their Climax combos. So it's really, really fun. I personally have not messed around with a deck that utilizes all of these, but I'm sure that it's like a ton of fun to pull off the full combo if you can get all the pieces together. This one is the way that you early play the level 3 Loid. So the way this works is you pay 1 to play the event, and then you rest a Berlin character and send this to memory. And then at the start of your next main phase, this gains the effect where you can send this from memory back to your waiting room, and then you can summon the 3/2 Loid from your waiting room to stage. And so you aren't able to bring out the Loid immediately the turn you play the event, but you are able to start getting it out the next turn. And I think that it's a very interesting way to potentially play the Loid strategy, because Loid does change into a healer. So if you're able to play this event at level 2 and then stay at level 2, you can then start generating a lot of heals using Loid's change. Okay, and then here we have an Anya level 2 combo. This one allows you to top check 4, choose 2 characters, put one of them in your hand, and put the other one into stock. And then it gains 4,000 power if you have only Berlin City characters, which should be very easy to do. The issue that I have with this card, despite the fact that it gets you +1 stock and +1 hand, just like other powerful level 2 combos like Muron, is that this one forces you to go through your deck because you look at up to 4 cards on top of your deck rather than being a search or salvage. And so that does make this card a little bit weaker. Here we have a level 2 Yor combo. This is a card that I alluded to earlier as a fake standby. So this card's Climax combo says on attack, you can mill 1, and if the card you milled is a Berlin character, you choose 1 card with a level that is equal or lower than your level +1 and put it on your stage rested. So it's basically the same wording as standby, but it's on a door combo. Okay, here we have another level 1 with a soul trigger, Proud Anya. Okay, here we have one of the most cracked cards in the set for sure. The level 0 Sylvia. So when this card is placed on stage from your hand, or when it's sent to the waiting room from stage, you can discard a Pants Climax to look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck and add a Berlin City character from among them and add it to your hand. So that's already a really, really strong card, especially in like 8 Pants decks. You get a ton of deck speed, which is great for putting change targets into your waiting room, such as the Fiona. And that's not even the entire card. She has a second effect, which is also insanely cracked. When this card attacks, you can either pay 1 stock or clock the top card of your deck in order to twin drive. So this can be a normal twin drive that just, pay 1 and twin drive, or you can use this as take a damage to gain an extra stock. It's an extremely powerful card, and this is definitely one that you're going to want to run 4 of for sure in 8 Pants, and then you could potentially even run this in a Pants choice deck, like Fiona into Anya. Like I know Mike, when he plays Fiona level 1, Anya level 3, he even likes to run additional Pants Climaxes just in order to have this ability be online more. So very, very powerful card. We have a Search Brainstorm Yor, and she also has the effect where when she's played, you get to choose one of your characters. It gains anti-reverse via auto effects until end of opponent's next turn. Here we have a anti-damage counter. If you have 5 Berlin characters on stage, you can choose your opponent's character in battle and make it deal no damage for that turn. So this is the kind of card where I mentioned earlier, if you have the 3/2 Anya from the trial deck, this card has on-play bounce, and it would be able to turn off an effect such as this event that requires a full board. Here's the other Climax swap of the set, the level 0 Anya, and it also has the effect where you can discard 1 to grab a 2/1 Yor event from your waiting room and add it to hand. Oh, that goes here. Oh, just real quick, let's just look at this Climax. I think that this is probably one of the most iconic scenes from the opening few episodes of Spy Family. I think this is the one that pretty much just everyone goes away from remembering, because he basically like proposes to Yor with a grenade pin, and it's just so funny watching it for the first time and just being like, oh my god, he really just proposed to her with that. And it's there's explosions going on in the background. It's just a very, very fun scene. And it really just sets the tone for the whole show, I think. Just kind of sets the tone for what kind of humor the show has to offer. Ooh, we got another foil in our Meister Set. So foils aren't really guaranteed, I think, in the Meister Set. So you kind of just take what you get. But we were able to get a triple R choice Climax. I think this is the one for the Becky level 1 combo. So if we pull that Becky, then we can verify if that's the correct combo. Okay, here we have a level 2 Loid Memory Kit counter. Memory Kit counter is always nice if your opponent has abilities that activate at the end of an attack, because the character needs to be on stage still in order to use an end of attack ability. So if you send them to memory, then they won't be able to use that effect. Oh, we got a double R. Cool. This is the first double R that we've had in this Meister Set. We got the level 3 Loid. And okay, this is the Climax combo that I was thinking wasn't so great earlier. The level 0 Anya. So the Climax combo is at the start of Encore Step. If you have the Climax in the Climax area, you can salvage 1 and then discard 1. So it doesn't actually plus you at all. It just gives you some filtering, and for that reason, I don't think that combo is very worth using. Her other effect is pretty nice, but not enough to justify running the card, I think. Okay, here we have a level 3 killer. Normally these level 3 killers just gain like 6,000 power, and I think they're usually like 8k power or 7,500 power. But this Anya is 7k base, and then when she attacks a level 3, she gets 6k and 2 soul, so she can swing for a ton of damage. Going with the theme of like the choice deck, swinging for lots of damage with soul triggers and like 2 soul Damien and things like that. Yuri is a character that we haven't talked about yet in these cards. So Yuri is Yor's younger brother. He is extremely overprotective of his sister, almost to the point of like being like a siscon basically. And so between Yor and Yuri, they do have some effects that go with each other, but overall I would say that those two are the weakest deck archetype in the set. I think that just a lot of the other archetypes have a lot more going for them, like the Weiss deck with Loid and Fiona, or the Eden Academy deck with like Anya, Damien, and Becky. Okay. So like for example, like here's a Yuri card that specifically supports Yor. When you use this card's backup, you can discard a card to choose a character on stage that has Yor and return it back to your hand. And so this allows you to like dodge an on reverse ability, or maybe rescue a card with Yor that you want to reuse on the next turn. Oh, we got another double R. We got the level 1 Yor. Okay. I think, personally, this is probably one of the weakest double Rs that you could pull. Unfortunately, I feel like Yor just kind of got the short end of the stick in this set. So let's talk about this level 1. So this level 1 says, Climax combo, it's on attack salvage. That's the whole combo. It is selectivity, but it doesn't actually contribute to like your deck speed or anything like that. Additionally, the second effect is when you play a Climax, this card gets plus 2,500 power, and on attack, you can discard a card to Twin Drive. So, first of all, the fact that this requires playing a Climax in order to gain that power means that if you don't have the Climax, this card is just attacking for a measly 3,500 power. Very, very weak. Even if you have a Climax, it's still 3,500 defensively, which means that it gets run over by a lot of things. Even a good amount of level 0s can just run over this Yor basically for free. The ability that she gains from playing a Climax, which is on attack discard 1 Twin Drive, this is the kind of ability that is really good if you have a lot of surplus hand, because you just get to convert that hand into stock. However, because the Yor dies so easily, I don't think that you will have a lot of excess hand. You will be needing that hand in order to replace bodies on the board after your opponent clears your Yors. And so I don't think that this card I just don't think it's a very good overall package for a level 1 combo, and it's, in my opinion, one of the weakest combos available in the set, despite being in the double R slot. So that is a bit unfortunate. But that is just kind of the reality of the card, unfortunately. Okay, here is the level 2 event that can be used to bring out the level 3 Yor. You just play the event, and then you just put the Yor on stage from your hand. So just very, very simple card. For our rare, we have the level 0 Sylvia. I think this one is the SP for Sylvia. Not 100% sure because we didn't actually pull that one, but I'm gonna be real. It should have been the other level 0. Like, where is it? Where's the other level 0 Sylvia? What rarity was it actually? I think, was that common or uncommon? Oh, where'd it go? This one. Oh, it was a common. I accidentally just put it in the wrong pile. Yeah, this card is so amazing. This honestly should have been the SP, but unfortunately it is this other Sylvia, which sees significantly less play, but it's still a pretty decent card nonetheless. It is another Shimakai level 0, just like the Yor that we saw in the trial deck, where on attack you can give one of your other Berlink characters a boost based on the number of characters you have on stage. And then also, when this is placed on stage from hand, you can choose one of your opponent's characters, and it cannot move until the end of the opponent's next turn. This can be useful against standby strategies, where your opponent likes to standby out characters to their back row that they plan to use on their next turn, and then you can just be like, nah, you're going to stay in the back row, and you don't get to do anything in the front. Okay, let's go into our last pack. Here is the level 2 event that can be grabbed off of the Anya Climax swap. So this card goes to memory, and then you give 2 of your characters the effect where if they side attack, they do not get a soul penalty for the rest of the turn. And then while this card is in memory, all of your cards with change get 1,000 power and hexproof, which can be really nice for preventing your opponent from using things like rest counters. And then it will go back to your waiting room at the start of your opponent's next encore step. Okay. for our last rare, we have the level 0 Yuri. So this card is on play, you may mill 3, and then when you play a climax, you can bounce this card back to your hand to give one of your characters 2k power. This is basically meant to be used alongside the level 2 Yor, because it opens up the slot in order for Yor to summon a character with her climax combo. So that's basically how that is meant to be used. Just one last note: dude, these climax arts are just like, there's just so many good arts. But this specific climax that goes with the Fiona combo is from the scene where Anya is like reading Fiona's thoughts, and Fiona just has this really just like stone-faced look, and she's just very stoic. And then on the inside, Anya's just like, man, she really loves Loid. She's just like going crazy in her head despite her stoic disposition. So very, very funny. All right, that is going to do it for our Meister set. We were able to pull 2 double Rs and 2 foils, so I would say that is relatively successful. And now let's get into our booster boxes. So we'll go ahead and clean up and be right back. Okay, guys, we are back with the first of our 2 booster boxes, and we are back on the normal playmat for these. So let's go ahead and go through the ratios for the booster set. Okay, well, first of all, I forgot to mention this on the trial deck, but the trial deck ratios, you should be expecting to get 2 SPs out of the 4 in each sealed case of trial decks. And then the rates for the booster box, you should be expecting to get your usual 4 or 5 double Rs, 1 or 2 foils. And as far as the SPs and spy rares go, so there are a few different high rarities in the set. As far as the SPs, you should be expecting to get 2 SPs per sealed case, and you should be expecting to get 6 spy rares in each sealed case as well. As far as the secret rare goes, there are 3 secret rares, 1 for each of the main trio, and that one is not guaranteed in a case, but if you do have one, then it should replace a spy rare, I believe. So let's go ahead and get right into our first booster box. For our box top, we have level 0 Loid, which is a spam search discard brainstorm, and also gives 1k to one of your characters at the start of your climax phase. So it's a pretty useful card. The fact that you can give a boost despite the card being in front or back row, as well as use the brainstorm without needing to rest the card, makes it a pretty nice utility option, especially if you need to go through a lot of cards in your deck. In particular, I think this card could actually be pretty useful in like a Fiona deck, if in case you want a little bit of extra milling in order to make sure that you have proper targets in your waiting room to use Fiona's change. All right, let's get into our packs. So we have already seen a good number of cards from our Meister set, so we don't need to go through some of the rares. Here we have level 1 Yor combo. So during your turn, this gets 3k power, and then at the end of the attack, if the character across from her is reversed or empty, you can look at top 4, add a character or her event from among them to your hand, send the rest to waiting room. Similar to the level 1 Yor double R that we saw earlier, this Yor combo does unfortunately have the downside of being extremely weak on defense. I do think that it is fitting for her character, considering that she is an assassin and she really focuses on killing and being high offense. But unfortunately, that does mean that she does get run over quite easily by even some bigger level 0s. Ooh, and we have our first foil. We have the level 0 Door Climax. This is actually the one that goes with the level 1 that we just saw. And both of these depict the scene where we first see Yor doing her assassin activities. And I don't remember the exact line from the scene, but she has this like very sophisticated line where she's like very politely asking, like, "Do you mind if I take your life?" And I thought that was a very interesting line for just showing like kind of how polite of a character she is, despite the fact that her job is very much dirty work and she has to get her hands dirty a lot of the time. Okay, Have we only pulled Pan's Climax so far? Yeah. We have only pulled 3 Pan's Climax so far in our 2 packs. All right. Okay, for our first double R, we have the level 3 Loid, which we already saw a couple times previously. Our rare is a level 1 Loid combo. That is, it's just a very simple effect. It's just when you attack and you have the climax in the climax area, this gains. When this is front attack, you can bounce back to your hand. So it swings for very big, being 4,000 plus 4,000 power during your turn, and then you just get to bounce it back and use it again next turn. For our next double R, we have the level 3 Anya. Again, a card that we already looked at earlier at the very beginning of the opening. Oh, here's the level 1 Becky combo, which I don't remember if we've actually seen yet. So during your turn, this gets plus 2k power, bringing it up to 6/5 before climax. And then the climax combo is on choice, so that'll bring her up to a very respectable 7,500 power. When she attacks, if all of your characters are Berlin City, you get to look it up to top 4, add an event or a yellow character from among them to your hand, and send the rest to waiting room. So obviously, this isn't able to grab non-yellow characters, so it's incentivizing you to play a deck full of Eden Academy characters, basically Anya, Becky, Damien, and then maybe like the Headmaster as well as that, because that card is also quite good. This one doesn't have a soul trigger, unlike the Damien combo, but still a very strong combo nonetheless. Ooh, looks like we have another foil. We have the level 0 Anya combo, this one right here, Shocked Anya. For those of you who don't watch Spy Family, you are probably at least familiar with Anya's meme faces because she has some of the best meme faces. Like between like her shocked face or her waku waku face or her like meme smile when she meme smiles at Damien. I'm going to go ahead and just have a screenshot of that on the screen right now so you guys can just take a look at that. If you haven't seen it, then you're missing out. Okay, getting close to the end of the first half. And for our rare, we have the level 0 Anya Mill Runner, and it's an Amagi. So Amagi is an effect where when you play a climax, you can pay 1 to look top 4 and add a character. It's a really nice way to get some extra advantage that isn't reliant on like hitting a climax like a Brainstorm, but it does require you to play a climax. Notably, this card is actually going to be the Champions card for the upcoming Springfest season. So the team that gets first place at a Springfest will be winning 3 copies of this with the BSF Champion stamp. So look out for those. Here, this is a level 0 Yor that actually is quite a good card with the Twilight level 3 combo. So this card says you can discard 2 cards and then put this card on bottom of your deck to choose a Berlin City character from your waiting room whose level is equal or lower than your level and play it on stage. And so the reason that this is really good with the Loid is because in order to resolve triple Loid, you would need to start the turn with 10 stock. And using this Yor cuts down the cost by 2 because you don't need to pay 2 to put the Loid on stage from your hand. You just play it straight from your waiting room. And the fact that the Loid combo doesn't require any hand, you can just use all that extra hand on the Yor level 0 and make it much easier to resolve triple. So very good card in that deck. All right, we're done with the first half. Let's see what we can get from the second half. Still have like 2 or 3 more double Rs to go. And here we have the Anya Brainstorm as our next double R. For our rare, we have the Yor Tap Self Top Check 3 Brainstorm, and she also has the effect where On play, you can look at top card of your deck, send it to waiting room, or leave it on top. This is a really nice card for synergizing with the brainstorm effect, because if you look at the top card and it's clean, then you can mill it and then make it easier for you to hit the brainstorm and potentially get some cards. Okay, for our next rare, we have the Bond. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one on the side, and I'm going to wait until we hopefully pull the Becky Double R, as that is a card that we're going to want to look at with the Bond at the same time, I think. For our rare, we have the Loid Top Check 2 rearranged that we saw earlier. I actually think there's another Loid that has Top Check 2 rearranged, but it's green. So I'll be on the lookout for that. Anya Climax swap. We have the Anya anti-change counter. Here's another excellent Anya meme face. Oh, our next double R is the Your Ricky. So this is another really powerful level 0 utility piece. Basically, between the Anya and the Yor, I feel like a lot of Spy Family decks are going to start with these two cards as part of their level 0 line, as they're both extremely strong. This Yor, in addition to being a Ricky, she also has an on-play effect where you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a Brilliant character or her specific event, you get plus 2,000 until the end of the turn, bringing her up to 3,500, giving you a strong level 0 attacker, as well as information of the top card of your deck, which is always nice. Okay, keep going. We have the Anya Clean Cut. Okay, let me double check. Okay, I just now realized that this one's actually the foil for the level 3 Anya. I think the reason that I thought that this one might be the Becky combo is because I'm used to the art where they're like sleeping in the back of the car as opposed to the foil version. And so I thought that this one might be the Becky because of that. But then I realized that this one's actually the Becky combo when I pulled this one out of this pack. So my bad. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, and we did get a 5th double R, which is the level 0 Loid. This is a JC effect where when one of your other characters is attacked, you can pay 1 and sack Loid in order to bounce that other character back to your hand. Additionally, during your turn, if you have another character, this gets plus 1,500 power, bringing it up to 3k. Very respectable attacker. And on play, you can mill. You perform the following action twice. You may mill 1. So basically, it lets you mill up to 2 cards from the top of your deck if you're trying to adjust your deck size, or maybe mill climaxes into your waiting room towards the end of a deck rotation. This card is a pretty useful card. But compared to some of the other level 0 options, I think that some of those have higher priority, like the Your Ricky, or maybe like the Sylvia level 0 if you're running a Pants deck. Okay, this card is one of the biggest tragedies of this entire set. So this card has on play give 15 and on attack give 15, and this is tragic in more ways than one. First of all, these two effects have been seen on some level 0 cards, such as in Nazarick Volume 2 on the Demiurge, the Frog Demiurge. That card is a 001k that gives 1,500 attack and gives 1,500 on play. And this one's level 1. The other thing that's tragic about this card is that both of the buffs are not trait restricted. And that's actually a bad thing, because that means that this card is actually lower power than it needs to be. If we look at another level 1 with these exact 2 effects, which is the Gobta from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Volume 3, that card is a 1035. And both of the buffs for 1,500 power give to a Demon Continent trait character, which isn't a problem because everything in the set is Demon Continent. in this set, everything is brilliant trait, but Yuri still doesn't give to traded characters. He just gives to any character. And so because of that, he is just 2,500 power, and so this card is just kind of a tragedy. Okay, we have Sylvia, level 0. And for our last pack, so that means that we didn't pull the Becky double R. So hopefully we'll pull that in our next box so that we can explain the way the Bond and Becky both interact with the Brainstorm. And for our last pack, our last rare is, level 0 Anya. So this card is very useful if you want to try to early play the level 3 using the level 2 event. So let me go ahead and find that. Did I? Yeah. Okay, so this Anya has 2 effects. The first one is on play, you can look at up to 3 cards from top of your deck to try and add an event to your hand. If you do add an event, then you discard a card. Her other effect is on play, you can discard a brilliant character to search your deck for the 2-1 event and just add it to your hand straight up. So the 2-1 event, you have to sacrifice this specific Anya in order to bring out a level 3 Anya from your waiting room, which is usually going to be the combo. And yeah, it's basically, this card just makes it extremely easy to bring out the level 3 Anya because you just get such easy access to the level 2. And then it also gives you just some incidental mill. Even if you don't need to grab an event at the time, you can just use the effect to mill up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, which is always really strong. Same reason as like the ability to flexibly mill 2 with the Loid. So that's going to conclude our first box, and we'll be right back with our second box after a bit of cleanup. Hopefully we can pull the level 3 Becky. All right, box number 2. Go ahead and get this opened right up. All right, what is our box topper this time? This time we have the Your level 0. When this is placed on stage from hand, if your opponent has 1 or fewer characters in their front row, so basically if they have 1 character in the front row, you choose that character and give it minus 3,000 power. And when this card's damage is canceled, you can put this card into stock. So similar to the submarine ability that we saw earlier, this is another way that you could potentially punish your opponent's turn 1 play. But instead of just sending it to the bottom of the opponent's deck, you make it lose 3,000 power, which is arguably worse. Okay, let's go ahead and get into our second box. Oh, that's our rare, level 0 Yuri. Oh, we have our triple R climax. We once again have pulled the Anya level 3 triple R, so we have 2 now. And then for our rare, we have another copy of Bond. Another copy of Loid, level 3, for our first double R. We have the Anya Amagi Mill Runner. Another Anya level 3. So far we're 2 for 2 as far as double Rs that match the first box. Hopefully we don't get 2 of the same box. Level 0 Anya combo. Loid memory kit counter. And ending off the first half of the box, we have another Anya Brainstorm. So 3 for 3 so far. Oh, here we have a rare that we have not yet gotten, which is the level 3 Yor. So earlier on in the opening, I mentioned that there was a level 2 Yor that you could I forget the cost, but it involves discarding a door climax, and you bring out a specific level 3 Yor that wasn't the climax combo. This is that Yor. So this card has, on attack, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a brilliant character, you burn equal to its level. You will probably hear a lot of people calling this a Yo burn or a Mickey burn from Yo in Love Live Sunshine or Mickey in the Idolmaster. But yeah, so that is another level 3 for Yor that you could potentially bring out at level 2. Alright, no double R here. Our rare is level 3 Loid. Alright, so what was the 4th double R we pulled in the last one? It was the Yor Ricky. So we need to... Oh, second foil. What do we got here? We have a foil version of the 2-1 Anya Half Fumio, which is a nice pickup. We can go ahead and... I think this was the... No, that's the climax combo. Okay, hold on. Do we have the normal version somewhere? Where's the normal version? Okay, I cannot find the normal version to save my life, so we're just gonna ignore that for now. But here is the foil. I wanted to, compare the art between the two. And then for our rare, we have Yor level 3. No double R. Oh, here is a very interesting card. I think that on paper this card is extremely powerful, but just doesn't quite fit. Doesn't quite fit into the strategies that Spy Family wants to really go into. So this card is on play if you have another brilliant character, gains 2k, so swings for 2/5. It can run to back row by paying 1 at the start of your opponent's attack phase, and then during the opponent's turn, she's also an assist 1k. So very interesting card, and yeah, I definitely think that it has potential, but it's just kind of outclassed by some of the other level 0 back row options, like, having 2 Anyas in your back row. Like, double Anya in the back row is just so strong. Oh, guys. I don't know, guys. Are we going to see another Loid JC as our last double R? Is it going to happen? Are we going to have 5 for 5? Oh, man. They were even in the same order. That's crazy. All right. Level 1 Loid combo. All right, come on. Give me Becky. Give me Becky. Please. Becky, one time. That's not a double R. Level 1 Yor for our rare. When she reverses her battle opponent with any climax in the climax area, you can put the top card of your deck into stock. Typically, we would like this card with this ability to be higher power on offense, like usually like a 4/5 that gains like 1500 on play or something like that. So it is a little bit unfortunate. This one is swinging quite a bit lower at just 5k base, but it is an option that you have for your decks if you want a little bit of extra stock. All right, come on, Becky, 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 Becky. Not even a double R. For our rare, we have the 3/2 Anya and Damien. It's a 2 or less climax early play, heal, and then on play gains 1500 until the end of the opponent's next turn. All right, last pack. Do we have a double R? And will it be Becky? Come on, Becky, 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 Becky. All right, this really needs to stop happening. Like, why? Why does this keep happening to me? I keep this is like probably like the 4th or 5th time on this channel I think this happened. But all right, so that is going to conclude our second box. We'll be right back with the double Rs that we were not able to pull, and I will be going over the Bond level 2 as well. And yeah, we'll just be right back in a sec. All right, guys, we are back with the recap. So there were 2 double Rs that we did not pull or were not already yet explained, like the 3/2 Yor and the 1/0 Fiona. So we're going to go through each of those real quick. We're going to start with the 3/2 Loid, Anya, and Yor. despite it being green and the other one being yellow. So this card is a 2 or less climax and waiting room early play, and then when it's placed on stage from hand, you heal 1, and then you can choose one of 3 effects, which is what I think makes this a very powerful card, and kind of a reason to be running green, to be completely honest. So this card has 3 possible second effects. The first one is if you have a full board, you can put the top card, or not the top card, or no, it is top card. You can put the top card of your waiting room into stock. So this essentially comes in as a 1 stock healer. The second effect is you can gain 3k until end of turn, which is, I feel like, is probably going to be the least used one, but if you really need to get over something, then you have that option. And then the third one, which I think makes this card extremely powerful, is you can pay 1, discard 1 to heal again. And so this card makes it really, really nice to play at level 2 if you want to get out of the kill range of some of the more powerful finishers currently in the metagame, such as Gura in Hololive, or like if you want to get out of the kill range of like Goats, Ainz, and Nazarick, then this is a really, really cool card. You're able to get multiple heals out of just playing a single card. The last double R that we didn't pull is the Becky, as I'm sure you guys are all aware. So the reason I wanted to save this until the end is because I wanted to talk about Becky and Bond at the same time. So both Becky and Bond have an ability that say, if this card is in your back row, all of your copies of the Anya Brainstorm get global 1500 power to all other characters, which I think is a really confusing way to do an assist ability rather than just like putting it on this card itself. But that also means that it is possible to stack the power buffs very easily. So like, let's say, for example, you have 1 Becky, 2 Anyas, and 2 Fionas. So each of those Anyas would have a global 1500 effect. And so basically your entire board would be getting plus 3k. So your Fionas could be 3k base plus 3k from her effect, plus 3k from 2 Anyas, plus 1k for changing from Anya effect, plus another 1k from the other Anya. So like basically like the power just starts stacking up like to really, really insane levels. So both the Becky and Bond share this effect, but the variance between the 2 cards is in their other effects. So Bond has the effect where you can rest him to look at the top card of your deck and either leave it on top or send it to their waiting room. Whereas Becky has an effect where, first of all, you can rest her and discard a copy of herself to search for a character. And then her third effect is you can discard 2 cards at the beginning of your climax phase to burn 1. And so each of these, I think, lends itself to one of the 2 most popular finishers to go alongside the Fiona combo. So I think that the Bond is a better fit to play with the Loid finisher. Reason being, this essentially can act as like a Mocha 1. And if you see a climax on top of your opponent's deck, then you can send it to waiting room and then just use it with Loid. Whereas the Becky, I think, is better with the Anya. It doesn't really make sense to run the run the Bond with the Anya, because the Anya combo is Mocha 3 and Bond's effect is basically like Mocha 1. So if you look at the top card and it's just clean, then it doesn't really do anything for the Anya. Whereas the Becky adds an additional instance of damage to the Anya turn. So yeah, those are the 2 last cards that I wanted to take a look at. And then before we close out our opening, we're going to go ahead and just take a look at some of the high rarity cards that come in the set. So there are multiple different high rarities. So we're going to start with the SPs. We do have a few of them to show to you guys today. So first we have the level 0 Anya. We have level 3 Yor, level 3 Loid, level 1 Fiona, and level 2 Becky. The last SP that we don't have here for you guys today is the level 0 Sylvia, which is a rare. Next up, we also have some spy rares. These are the ones that you should be expecting to get 6 spy rares per case. Oh, this is not even this card. This is the level 0 that lets you top check 3. Here we have the level 3 Anya and Damien early play. Here we have the double healer and the Yor Ricky. And then the last rarity that you might get out of your boxes is the secret rare. We have the Anya here to take a look at today. The secret rares, as I mentioned earlier, are not Seiyu signed. These ones are character signed, just like the trial deck SPs. And if you get a secret in your case, you should be expecting for it to replace one of your 6 spy rares. So that is going to conclude our box opening. I know it's been a long one thanks to the Meister Set, but thanks to you guys for sticking around throughout the whole video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and feel free to leave some of your favorite cards, moments, some of your favorite characters from Spy Family. Go ahead and let us know down in the comment section below as well. Until next time, this has been Randall, aka Shizakats, on the Tressa Collectibles channel, and we'll see you in our next video, where we'll be going into some of the more like deck building aspects of Spy Family with like a deck profile, trial deck plus things like that. So, see you next time. Bye!